why it's coming out now is we wanted to wait, to get through all of the legal proceedings, the criminal trial, and it's four parts, and it spans over 30 years of pop culture, his life. So it took some time, to say the least, to put all of this together.
It's an important story, and you could just tell it with all the public material. You go further, you've gotten your hands on some extra new material people are going to see for the first time, including this video. Any journalist would want to know how you got it.
You guys don't need to worry about me getting revenge from Diddy. I've got 3 moves that make sure he'll never be able to come after me or my family. First, I personally reached out to the victims' legal teams. The real reason he's not getting out is those buried cases behind the scenes. I provided legal funding for 7 victims who had been silent for years and brought in the top criminal attorneys in the country. Second, I bought up every potential post-release business deal he had lined up. I planned this 2 years in advance, so by the time he got sentenced and still had hope of getting out, every partner had already cut ties with him. Third, I don't just have evidence, I've got backups. This is an entire minefield that's been buried for 20 years. I uncovered every secret from the last 30 years. With testimonies from the victims, we interviewed over a dozen people he tricked, threatened, or violated. You think that's harsh? No, he destroyed other people's lives for decades. I'm just making sure he spends a few extra years in prison for it. I'm not afraid of his people, not afraid of his threats. I know he's still in there fantasizing about a comeback, but the truth is, he's never coming back.
That they believe that Diddy was very jealous of Tupac. And they pretty much go through everything from the quad incident and Tupac believing that Puffy was behind it, like he said in
delivering revelation after revelation, establishing itself as one of the most thorough examinations of Diddy's public and private life. Currently serving a 50-month sentence at Fort Dix Federal Prison in New Jersey for convictions tied to unlawful interstate conduct, he faced relief when a jury dismissed the most severe allegations against him. Public scrutiny, however, has only intensified since late 2023, when his former partner Cassandra Ventura filed a widely publicized lawsuit alleging long-term mistreatment. That filing sparked a wave of additional civil claims that remain unresolved. Diddy has consistently and firmly denied all allegations, yet media and public attention around his name shows no signs of fading, keeping his actions and legacy under a persistent microscope.
We're even hearing from Greg Kading, the detective that worked on Tupac and Biggie's case in this documentary. He is the investigator that did that proffer agreement with Keefe D way back in 2008, where Keefe D alleged that Diddy tried to offer him $1 million to take out Tupac and Suge Knight. And Tupac's trial with Keefe D is coming up very soon in early 2026. And we know that Diddy's name has been dropped at least 200 times during these proceedings.
But I think that some of these lawsuits, there's receipts and there's footage and there's voice recordings. And I think that for a man, it's also very interesting, for the culture of hip hop, so many artists record themselves, and they probably, when they were, recording themselves in 2005, never saw the year 2025 and how accessible that media would be to actually make a case for things. And I think that's a big part of the gumbo of Sean Combs. And
such candid, unguarded conversations before formal charges are highly unusual, as these discussions are typically kept strictly confidential. Legal experts suggest that the presence of a videographer may have unintentionally weakened key protections. Diddy's representatives later told NBC News that the recording was never authorized and expressed uncertainty over how Netflix obtained the material. They emphasized that the individual filming was legally bound by confidentiality agreements designed to keep all content private and restricted. The release raises complex questions about consent, legal exposure, and the boundaries of documenting sensitive situations.
Documentary, I'm waiting the whole time for Aubrey O'Day to reveal some major story that happened between her and Diddy. 3 episodes in, she's basically just talking about Diddy in a very general way. It isn't until the 4th episode that Aubrey reveals a witness walked in on Aubrey O'Day completely inebriated with Diddy doing things to her, as well as a second man who they refer to as a light-skinned, tall man. Details are very explicit and not anything I could share on here. This witness revealed that it was 100% Aubrey O'Day. It was really uncertain in watching Aubrey's reaction and kind of resharing this story whether or not she fully recollected the situation. He says it couldn't have been her choice to become inebriated because that was never her issue. She never really drank a whole ton. The earlier parts of this series, Aubrey does reveal these series of emails that she got from Diddy. They were all in very sexual nature, in a very sexual tone. He's basically asking her to come over and do certain things with him. It's these very domineering emails where he's basically setting the tone that he's the boss. She says that she felt very uncomfortable about those emails, and 6 months later, she was fired.
The series elevates voices from Diddy's inner circle, highlighting former collaborators, artists, and close associates who provide rare insight into his influence and career trajectory. Among them, Aubrey Day from Making the Band shares personal experiences that deepen the narrative, revealing the intricate dynamics of working within the orbit of one of hip-hop's most powerful figures. Their perspectives illuminate the realities behind his rise and ongoing prominence.
We were renegotiating Bad Boy. We had gotten over CCNY. It looked like the coast was clear. We were renegotiating with Arista. We were about to get a step up in the money. I had 25% of the company. I didn't know why he needed to get that back from me and then give it back to me again. I didn't understand that. That's like a trick. Like, okay, here, I gave it to you, now give it back, and don't worry, I'm gonna give it right back to you. I didn't want to give it up. So he came into my office one day unexpected, him and Kenny Marsalis, they had it planned out. Kenny had the briefcase with all the stock certificates in it, and Diddy had the bat. Not like, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you with the bat, but he had the bat like, man, we got to do this. This has to happen. I didn't feel I was gonna get beat down in that office, in all honesty. I got people that can jump out of the shadows in a minute. I wasn't threatened by him. What I was messed up over was the fact that I started this company with you from day zero, and now the one solid thing that you told me I had, you want to take that back and do a return to me on that at this critical time that we're renegotiating and getting a step up on the contract. When he told me it was about all of that renegotiating and that I should trust, I did, begrudgingly, angry, upset. It wasn't right. I did it. He got the stock back. I went on, tried to get over that, kept doing my job, doing what I had to do, delivering everything. And once again, I was caught up in the job. I forgot all about it. And next thing you know, we had the snafu. I was fired. And he just said, oh, okay, bye. And since he had
pizza and the East Coast, West Coast, and now we see why he was mad.
Leaders shaped the trajectory of hip-hop during this volatile period.
Asking, you say Suge looks over, he sees you. He looks right at you. Okay. When he looks over at you, and then Tupac's busy getting shot. Evidently, the story is Tupac's trying to either get out
in the back seat or something.
Yeah. What do you see happening inside of their car?
I seen a bullet going Suge's head. I thought he was dead. You thought he was dead.
So Orlando doesn't start across Dre.
He leaned over on the window. We rolled down the window. Pop. They would drove on my side. I would pop them. You know what I'm saying? But they was on the other side.
Right.
I'm not gonna go into details on that one. Just keep it streets, homie. I ain't gonna go into detail on that.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and read from the book.
Well, so let them buy the book then.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna read this passage. The shit was on. Tupac made an erratic move and began to reach down beneath his seat. It was the first and only time in my life that I could relate to the police command, keep your hands where I could see them. Instead, Pac pulled out a strap, and that's when the fireworks started. One of my guys from the back seat grabbed the Glock and started busting back. The first skin shook in the head, and I thought that mother was dead. I had heard some stories, supposedly that Suge used Tupac as a shield when the bullets started flying, but that's some bullshit. Suge was already wounded, and he was the one that got touched. As the rounds continued flying, I ducked down so I wouldn't get hit.
Basically, yeah.
The white Cadillac arm came out the back seat and started letting off.
What went through your head when you saw that?
TPD's 2008 proper agreement, he alleged that Diddy's friend Zip Martin is the one that gave him the weapon that was used to take out Tupac. TPD told the investigator Greg Kading that Zip Martin had a special compartment to keep this weapon in his car that he drove to Las Vegas. And in this documentary, we have Greg Kading confirming that Zip Martin did drive the same type of vehicle that TPD alleged to Las Vegas this night. And then during this documentary, we heard from the former president of Bad Boy, Kirk Burroughs, who alleged during this time, Diddy had him hiring a whole bunch of people and getting cars to drive to Las Vegas. And he is now very curious into why Diddy wanted to do this. And he said, in his opinion, he now believes that Diddy was behind.
The documentary asserts that the label rivalry quickly spilled beyond music into a far more dangerous arena, depicting a climate where street affiliations and external influences became entangled with the industry. Diddy is portrayed at the center of a web of controversial connections through associates linked to New York's underground scene. Expert commentary and recorded accounts detail how key figures later claimed responsibility for the tragic 1996 Las Vegas killing of Tupac Shakur. Analysis from former law enforcement investigator Greg Kading, alongside first-hand interviews with individuals close to the case, reinforces this narrative. The series presents a tense, insider-driven retelling that frames the era as a volatile collision of fame, power, and unchecked rivalry, emphasizing that the conflict's escalation stemmed less from the artists themselves and more from external pressures, executive maneuvering, and the dangerous intersections of music, street politics, and industry influence during one of hip-hop's most notorious periods.
Oh, there was the rumor that after Pac got Puffy gave Zip $1 million that was supposed to be handed over, and Zip ended up keeping it. And I remember when I interviewed TK Kirkland, who was actually roommates with Zip at one point. They were that close. He actually said, yeah.
The Fed said that too.
He said that actually happened. Well, the story that has circulated was that after Tupac got, Puffy allegedly gave the money.
I heard
to Zip.
Yes.
And Zip was supposed to give the money to Keefe and them.
Yes.
But he never gave the money to him.
But thank God he never gave him the money, right? Think about it. If he gave the money, Puffy will be in prison now, money for hire. So thank God. It's just a true story. I'm not saying yes or no, but if he would have gave them the money, it'd have been for hire and Puffy would be locked up.
Davis claims that Diddy allegedly offered financial incentives to external figures to target Tupac Shakur and Suge Knight, who was riding alongside him during the infamous Las Vegas shooting. According to Davis, the promised funds were never delivered, citing Knight's survival and the alleged disappearance of the money through an intermediary who later died. This adds another complex, dark allegation to a tangled chain of contested accounts surrounding Diddy. These claims continue to fuel debate and intensify the controversy explored in the documentary, portraying an environment of high-stakes maneuvering and conflicting narratives that remain unresolved.
Burroughs even speaking on the situation with Biggie, how he was the one in charge of planning this London media trip for Biggie that he was supposed to be on the night that he was actually unalived. Kirk Burroughs claims Diddy is the one that canceled this trip and Biggie did not want to go out to Los Angeles. And Kirk Burroughs feels like Diddy should be responsible for what happened to Biggie. What Kirk Burroughs alleged next is what's really chilling. He said something that we have heard alleged many times, and he said that Biggie was actually leaving Bad Boy Records shortly before he passed away. Kirk Burroughs alleged that Biggie already signed the paperwork to get out from underneath Bad Boy. Then Kirk Burroughs went on to allege that after Biggie passed away, Diddy came to him and told him to change the terms in the contract that Biggie signed. And he claimed that he was so calculated that he told Kirk Burroughs to just switch out the middle pages. That way on the last page, Biggie's signature would still be there. That way Diddy could allegedly keep racking up money.
Burroughs alleged that Diddy pressured Christopher Wallace, known globally as Biggie, to travel to Los Angeles to promote his album despite Biggie's clear hesitation. The trip ended tragically with Biggie's fatal shooting in 1997. Burroughs claims that Diddy effectively guided Biggie into a dangerous situation and subsequently misled the public by portraying the journey as Biggie's own decision rather than a directive. This assertion directly challenges the long-standing narrative Diddy has publicly maintained regarding Biggie's choices and the circumstances surrounding his death.
How was it, man, for Biggie to go to LA so soon, knowing that Tupac got killed 6 months earlier?
The award show season was up. We had to go out there to participate in that. We had records that were nominated. We were a budding, launching company that already launched, and we were successful. We could not go. But Biggie did have an inconvenience. He had a car accident. I think it was in Brooklyn, maybe downtown Brooklyn. He had a broken femur at that time, and he was recovering from that. Big-sized person, could not really sit comfortably in a plane, not even first class, with a cast on. It was uncomfortable. He was talked into going to the LA portion of the trip so that he could be out there ahead of time. He was out in LA so there wouldn't be a big rush and bustle to get him there. So I think he was out there for a good week and a half ahead of time leading into the event. So being out there, we came to follow up and to have that night. And then he was supposed to, as per Aristoc's marketing department, Arista, one of the best labels and distribution companies that you can have to back you, the legendary Clive Davis, who backed so many artists, believed in Bad Boy so much, he put together a marketing campaign that was never seen before that campaign, and still wasn't seen, but it was put together so that Biggie could receive an international press junket in London with all press from around the world meeting him that Saturday, Sunday after the Friday award show night. He was supposed to go on an international flight with me. We have the itinerary still to this day. He was supposed to leave that early morning, go to London, and we would be out there for 2 or 3 days, and then he would go back to New York and go home. Diddy called Sean P. Diddy, whatever his name was during that time, called at that time, I brought most of the company with me. I had a lot of interns, young people. I had to account for them with their parents. We had
Controversies continue to intersect in ways that make the story far more complex and charged.
Gene Deal.
Hey, Miss Wallace, Gene Deal.
Oh, hi, Gene. How are you?
All right, man. You know I ain't seen you since I came to your house and had that conversation with you. How you been? You all right?
I've been okay. I've been watching you on Facebook.
I'm sorry, Miss Wallace. I'm sorry I had to do what I had to do, but you know, it is what it is.
I know you do.
Thank you, Miss Wallace. Like I told people, I said if Miss Wallace would have called me and told me to shut it down, I would have shut it down. Miss Wallace ain't called. She knew how to get in touch with me. If Miss Wallace didn't tell me to shut it down, I'm going to keep doing it because I respect you, Miss Wallace.
Do what you do.
First thing I said was, Miss Wallace, if you tell me to stop, leave Puff, stop, no, I didn't say leave Puff. If you tell me to stop doing what I'm doing, I will. She said, no, G, I'll watch you. You keep doing it. You doing a
Documentary trigger a fresh wave of legal challenges against Diddy. Fans and observers are watching closely, debating potential outcomes and weighing the evidence. Share your insights, predictions, and theories in the comments to join the conversation. This high-stakes story continues to evolve, capturing the attention of critics, audiences, and the broader public, all eager to see how Diddy's legacy and the unresolved controversies surrounding him may unfold next.